we always start off with our investment tip of the week. And we did bring up something last week about selling properties with tenants, and we've been getting calls all week, Tim, about this. So we're going to discuss it again, just so we could set it straight. So this week's tip of the week is, should you be selling your property with tenants in it? Tim, what are your thoughts?
We've come across a ton of properties with tenants in them, and because the way the market is, properties are selling right away. A lot of our buyers have had to take the tenants with the property. So there's some things that you really have to watch out for. We're going to go through a few of them right now.
Yeah.
And we've got a couple of funny stories about tenants. As I was in a property today at a home inspection, and there were some classic tenants in there. So why don't you start with that one?
Okay, so Tim and I have been selling properties for 16 years, and we've been selling investment properties for 16 years. That's why we became realtors. And today was a classic. Upstairs tenants. We had 2 home inspections today. One was in Winston Heights, one was in Bowness. And of course, the Bowness one, I know I give Bowness a hard time. It is going through a transition. It is turning around. But of course, the upstairs tenants have marijuana plants growing upstairs. And it is legal right now. So the legalities around that, Tim, is up to 4 plants. And it was for medical reasons. So we can't get upset about that. But if we're buying a property with marijuana plants in it, we're obviously taking it in 3 months and letting the existing landlord get those tenants out before we take over. And we've had that discussion with our investors. And that property is probably sat on the market, Tim, for the time it has. 1, because it has marijuana plants in it, and 2, the tenants really limited the times that you could see the property. We had to wait 3 days to get in. So people get turned off of that. But first off, what we do as investment focused realtors, what we do first is when a landlord comes to us and wants to sell his or her property, we approach the tenants to see if they're in a position to buy the property. That is the first thing we always do. The second thing we do, Tim, is go in there and look at the state of the property. Is the furniture nice? Does it look good? Are they clean? And if they are, then we can determine, should we sell the property with the tenants in it or not.
Yeah, and when we decide that, we work with the tenants like right from the start. We make sure it goes smoothly for the landlord, we make sure it goes smoothly for the owner, and it goes smoothly for the tenants. Well, our goal is to get our investor the highest price we can for that property. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and make the tenant as comfortable as possible and have them allow as many showings as possible, because the more people you get through there, the better chance you are to sell it at a higher price.
We always approach the tenants and we tell them, look, we're looking for investors to buy this property. So if the property looks great, your chances of staying are very, very high. So it always starts off great with the tenants, Tim. It always kind of starts off great if that happens. We were selling a property in Union Square, a few blocks from here. The tenant was lovely. Her furniture was from Urban Barn or Pottery Barn or Wayfair. It was great, and we're like, yeah, we'll take pictures. She had pride of ownership. She cleaned it up. The photographer couldn't believe it. But as the listing went on, because it was a condo, it took a little while to sell. She kind of was getting upset on how many showings there were and started limiting the amount of access we had. So it can get difficult with tenants because you are, Tim, really interrupting their life. And in this time, in this market, holy smokes, when you list a property, there could be 30, 40 showings. Yeah. So sometimes we know that when we see the property, we're like, geez, we got to get the tenants out. We took on a property in Bridlewood. We listed it for $425. And this property, when we went over there to look at it with our clients, the sellers, we actually told them you're better off getting the tenants out. I mean, these tenants caused a little bit of damage in the property, some wear and tear.
Pets all over the place.
They had pets. I think they had a big, what do you call that dog? A
big bulldog or something.
Yeah. And I'm not pet friendly, right? So it's kind of like, yeah, these tenants have to go. And sure enough, we got the tenants out. We told our clients what they had to fix up. They had to paint and patch and clean the place. And sure enough, that property sold $75,000 over list. And Tim, if they kept those tenants in there, what do you think they would have got? I don't even think they would have got list price of $425.
They probably wouldn't have had competing offers, and they probably would have got an offer below what it was listed at. So they did get the highest price they could because they got the tenants out. And back to speaking about pets, is a lot of landlords allow pets in their units. And then when you go to sell that unit, there will be pet damage. Well, there could be, whether it's, cats scratching things or the dogs scratching the floors. Dogs really wreak havoc on, nice hardwood floors, their nails to scratch it up. And another story that we have is quite a few years ago, we went into this house and it smelled like a jungle in there.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So we went down into the basement and we're looking around, where's the smell coming from? Underneath the stairs, there was a giant tortoise, like those big, huge tortoises that you see on the Galapagos Islands.
I've only seen one in the zoo, so I couldn't
It
believe
was
it.
living under the stairs in the basement. So you can imagine the problem of selling that house. People coming in and it smells like a jungle and they see this big tortoise walking around.
Yeah, that was crazy. Another thing you have to keep in mind, tenants like to stick around during showings. We don't really get it, but they're always there. You want them gone. Like, this can actually ruin your chance of getting a great price for your property. It's just because buyers go in there and they feel totally uncomfortable and they feel like they can't get a good feel of the property. So your chances selling with the tenant staying in the property, it really ruins it for you. So we want to stress that. Now, you have to understand, you could approach a tenant. This just happened to us in Scenic Acres, where clients of ours, Bing, has a great property in Scenic Acres, and we went over there and we met the tenants, and we kind of gave them a good 3-week leadway of when the photographer was coming. And I believe they went out of their way to make the place look worse. I mean, when I say look worse, there was food over the counters, no beds were made. I think one of the kids was sleeping in bed. Our photographer turned up and we couldn't even take pictures. So we actually had to delay the listing because
until the tenants come out.
Yeah, and so it can get difficult with tenants, and we just want to go over, if you do have a good tenant and you are thinking of selling, there are pros and cons to that, and if you need more clarification, please reach out. So that is our tip of the week. If you've missed all of our other tips, our tips are solely designed to either save you thousands of dollars or make you thousands of dollars. And if you've missed our tips that we've been doing for the past year, simply subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find it on our website, and there's all sorts of tips on there that can help you down the road.